just get an indication of how many of you were there in South Vietnam in 1967? How many of you? Show of hands. So for some of you, this is quite nostalgic, right? But for some of us who were born well after this time had passed, like myself and like May, watching this and being able to see images of Saigon, images of people from South Vietnam was incredibly moving. So there's that aspect of it. But I want to talk about the film because we have Kiều Chinh here. So I'm just going to dive right in. So the film was made in 1967, right, Go? And it was filmed in Saigon. It was filmed in Hong Kong and Taipei. Yes. We traveled with you to all of these places in that film. What was it like? Can you recall back to that period of working with May Văn Films and with director Lê Mộng Hoàn, and share some of your favorite memories of working on this project?
Good evening, xin chào quý vị. Cảm ơn câu hỏi. May I say something, because of my emotional right now is up high, and I want to express it. It is so emotional for me to see the movie. This for the first time. I haven't seen this movie before. Yeah, the first time today I see it, and it touched me so hard because of all my friends in the movie was long-time friends, from director Hoàng Vĩnh Lộc to anh Đoàn Châu Mậu, anh Lê Quỳnh, especially Thẩm Thúy Hằng. We are all dear friends. Today, seeing them, I relive all our wonderful moments of our lifetimes been working together. Especially Lê Quỳnh. I have been working with Lê Quỳnh since my very first movie, 1957. And then after that, I worked with Lê Quỳnh for many other movies. And later, now in United States, he became relative. We are both. He is grandson of my granddaughter. No, he is the grandfather of my grandson, and I am on the other side, grandmother of. So we both have a mutual son. It touched me so much now. Look at them, hear their voice, but they're all gone. I'm the only one left in this movie. Đoàn Châu Mậu, Lê Quỳnh, Thẩm Thúy Hằng, all gone. It touched me so hard, and seeing all of them, and seeing our Saigon with all old images, taxi Saigon, xe thổ mộ Saigon, all souvenir is really touching. I'm sorry, that's all I want to express right now. Back to your question now.
Yeah, that you, I think, perfectly expressed what I wanted to hear, which is what were some of your most memorable stories from working on this project with your friends. It sounds like they became like family to you.
Yeah, the most memorable souvenirs of ours is the trip. Both Thẩm Thúy Hằng, Lê Quỳnh, and me, we flew from Saigon, working in Hong Kong for a few days, and then from Hong Kong, yes, we flew to Taipei for a few more days, and then met with the other two actors from Taipei, the singer and the restaurant manager. They are from Taipei, yes, and so we have so many souvenirs, beautiful together. Actor Lê Quỳnh is a pilot himself. In real life, he's a pilot. And Thẩm Thúy Hằng and me, we've been working together for many years, not only on film, but we are representing South Vietnam motion picture industry. We travel all around Asian World Film Festival, you know, from Taipei, Japan, Hong Kong, Bangkok. And besides working with Viet Film Festival, actually Hằng work more with Viet, and I work more with Alpha Film Festival, Alpha Studio. But we are close friends.
So you said that this was your first time viewing this film. Did it circulate after it was completed in It says online that the film was finished in 1970, right? And that, of course, we all know that Vietnam, it was a very turbulent time. We had a war going on. Was the film able to circulate at all? Was it seen anywhere else? Were there audiences for it?
Can you imagine? This film made in 1966 and 67 is released. So it is 58 years already. Then I was 29 when the movie shot, and I was 30 years old when the movie shown in public. But I wasn't there, because when the movie is shown in public, I was traveling somewhere. So today is the first time I see the movie. The first time. And look back, the technique and everything at that time, of course we are now 2025, the technique is so different. But a kind of old movie, you know. And thank you for UCLA for remastered, and it looked great. Thank you.
Well, actually, all the thanks really goes to Phi, who did a lot of this work, and then we'd like to go in and do some of that cleanup, because you could still see so many aspects of it that need that kind of restoration. But I'm really glad it's accessible. So thank you for making it and sharing your stories. You definitely needed more towels for your budget, though. There's a lot of...
Well, because you bring up the towels, I want to get us to talk a little bit about the amazing fashion, right? What incredible outfits you wore.
Gorgeous, yeah,
I mean,
absolutely.
every single time you appeared on the screen, it was like the clothing was made perfectly for you. You looked gorgeous in every scene, and so did the other actors as well, right? Who was the costume designer? Do you remember? Or what was the process of working on the costume design for this film?
Actually, film industry then was poor. Most of the costume is my own costume. Yes. Most of them is my own clothing. I still remember the big handbag that I have, that I used to use for traveling. I still remember that. And only the costume that studio provide is the Air Vietnam costume, and the one I was sitting in the Ciclo, the Hong Kong, the Hong Kong Cheongsam wasn't mine, but the rest is, most of them are mine.
Wow, amazing. So I know that the audience will have probably some questions about some of the details of the film, but I kind of want to take us back to that era when Vietnam was at war, right? It was 1966, 67. The film was done in 1970. Can you share with us, were there any challenges in making this film during a time of war in South Vietnam?
Yes, because the title is big. You know, everybody know how important it is. The Battle of Dien Bien Phu is the big battle. The reason we are all exciting when we start doing this film, because that was one of the very first co-production between Vietnam, Hong Kong, and Taipei. The co-production. So that one was a success in Saigon, but also very success in Taipei, because the other actress, the singer, she's very famous in Taipei, and also the actor, the one who played the restaurant manager. So I wasn't there, but Tam Thi Hằng was there when it's shown in Taipei, and she told me that it was very successful, and that made the film industry, collaborated with other countries, and then later, when we have the Saigon Film Festival for the first time, then we are able to invite the actors, the directors from Taipei, Hong Kong to join us. So it was good for the industry then.
Yeah, so I mean, it's often described as a spy thriller that is picking up on some really important places, right? Saigon, Dien Bien Phu, iconic in the history of a nation at war. But it seems like, I mean, at the time, the film industry was still kind of moving along, and I noticed that at the end, because they were centering so much of that war story and the opposing sides and all of the kind of intrigue of spycraft. There's footage at the end that is of bombings, right, of the countryside. Do you know if that was real footage that was spliced in?
Yes, we were there for real. For real, we were there. And as you noticed, the private company are unable to provide all of this kind of military aircraft, the gun, the military. This was provided with helper from the South Vietnam government. Yeah, because otherwise you cannot, have that much money to have all the helicopter, tanks, militaries. And that was the helping from South Vietnam government. So we have all the big scene. Yeah. Private company cannot afford that. Yeah.
I just want to also add in terms of the context of distribution of the film, right? So if it was a co-production, it would have maybe had a couple maximum, maybe a couple hundred theaters that were showing the film, and a lot of folks, they'd either return it, try to get it back to the distributor, they'd keep it, and then hopefully it would end up somewhere. But a lot of this material, especially during a time of war, would get destroyed. So for the elements to make it from the Mivan elements to make it from Vietnam and not end up at the Vietnam Film Institute, the archive there, and end up here in Southern California is amazing. I mean, I think that the family members of this studio really invested a lot in terms of getting it out before the fall. There's also, speaking of American government, there's a number of prints that are also at the Library of Congress. And we found that when I've emailed the Vietnam Film Institute of what they have of any of these films from South Vietnam, there's oftentimes not any response or very little material. So speaking of that governmental connection, we've recently located Chúng Tôi Muốn Sống at the National Archives, and we have a scan of it. And so that's also got, Le Guin is in it. And it's really difficult to find these films. There's a couple copies here and there, so it's really a tremendous honor to have them in the collection.
As you know, May Hong, Chúng Tôi Muốn Sống is the very, very famous film then. It was one of the very first motion picture industry from South Vietnam. But it was with the help from UCLA, which means from American department there in Saigon, and most of the film crew was from Philippines. Yes, from the director and cameraman.
The director also remade the film in the Philippines.
Yes.
So we've got to do a side-by-side of the Filipino version.
Right,
And the
exactly.
Vietnamese version.
You know the story, because I know Mr. Bùi Diệm. It's just like one of my brother. So he told me how the film was shot. The Philippines have their own crew, and we, the Vietnam, have our own crew and cast. So they shoot the Philippine version, and then they turn to the other side to shoot the Vietnam version. And Mr. Lê Quỳnh, our leading man here, also the leading man in Chúng Tôi Muốn Sống, it was his very famous film, and it lasts forever. Everybody loved the movie. It was wonderful, very successful one. And that was Lê Quỳnh first movie, and then his second movie is with me from Hồi Chuông Thiên Mụ, 1957. Yeah. And later we worked together, I think 3-4 more films. And we went to Bạc Liêu Film Festival together when we premiere our film, I forgot, Hồng Yến and Chợ Sáng. We went to Bạc Liêu Film Festival together, and yeah, we have so much memory. Yeah.
So I want to bounce this next question over to May, because we've seen now how emotional, how incredibly connected we feel, right, to a place and a time when we're able to see it like that on the screen. And you do so much of this work of preserving history through film. Can you talk a little bit more about the collection, the My Vong project that you're working on, as well as maybe other titles that are part of this collection that audiences should know about, and also how to help support this work?
Yeah, of course, thank you. So much of what we see today when we go to a movie theater is digital, right? But prior to the digital sort of advent of digital cinema in the 2000s, gosh, it feels like forever ago, there were 35 millimeter prints and elements that would be made to distribute, of course. And a lot of that is lost to history, a lot of independent works, works from countries where so much war was happening and nothing really exists. And so part of UCLA's mission is to focus on materials that really relate to the University of California and Southern California history. So also because I'm Vietnamese, people have just come and reached out to me and said, do you know what this film is? You find it. And so though there is just a tremendous amount of work that we do to make materials accessible, I can't do all of it, and no one should do all of it, but we do seek out these materials. So for Chúng Tôi Muốn Sống, we think we have the best copy, but we know there's a print out there here in Orange County, and if we can find it, that would be amazing, because these films really, some of these films are the last generation of our our upbringing, our aunts and uncles and grandparents. These are the films that they grew up on and had a really profound impact at the time. When I first got this job, my aunt said, can you please find Chúng Tôi Muốn Sống? And then I went and saw her recently and I said, I found the film, and she said, I don't want to see it because I've already lived through all this time. I'm just so glad that you found it for other people. But it's a lot of work. When you go outside, I think there's posters about the archive. You can also go to our website at cinema.ucla.edu, and it takes really a village to restore and make this material accessible. And that's our goal. And we'll keep working on it and be back.
May, I'm glad you are there with UCLA. Thanks to you and UCLA to restore our old movie. Can't wait till I find mine as we talk about.
Yeah, we were talking about you have a negative, you have some materials maybe in the garage.
There was another film that I produced in 1969 after this movie, that my own company, Giao Chỉ Film Company, I produced the movie called Người Tình Không Chân Dung. Maybe some of the older generation have seen that movie, yes. And we also have lost the film during the war, the moving around. But anyway, I found some already, so I can't wait to.
I'm coming over. I'll pick them up.
You are doing, yes. And one day you will see Người Tình Không Chân Dung again, like a brand new movie that May Hong would help, and UCLA would help to restore that.
So proceeds from ticket sales from today's screening of this film will go towards this important work that UCLA Film and Television Archive is doing in preserving our history through film. I think that at this point, I'm going to open it up for Q&A from the audience because I know that many of you will want to ask lots of questions, starting with Anh Hao Nhing right there. I see your hands.
And I just want to shout out the Viet Film Festival, which of course has done so much to make these films available.
I'd like to ask about cô Kiều Chinh, cháu Hạo Nhiên này.
Hi, Hạo Nhiên.
Cháu muốn hỏi về cái lời thoại của cô trong phim about your voice in the film. Is it your voice because you speak giọng Bắc and then the lady in the film speak giọng Nam?
Yeah, thank you for that. And it wasn't my voice. I speak Northern accent. And most of the movie filmed in Saigon, the movie company would like to double so that the film can go to further in villages outskirts of Saigon, the southern nói tiếng Nam. Yeah. Thành ra most of the movie in South Vietnam, it wasn't my voice. Tôi nói tiếng Bắc. Yeah. Thank you, Hạo Nhiên.
Wow.
Yeah.
Eric's giving me the eye. Yeah, to go Kiều I had a lot of things going on today, but I made sure I was here. You are our iconic hero of Vietnamese film, and when I see this, I think Alfred Hitchcock, Sophia Loren, Go Kiều Chinh can hang with all of them. So you are a treasure. So thank you, thank you, thank you. And I just want to say, you know, the two ladies with you are doing oral history, are trying to archive. Have you done your oral history with Vietnamese oral history or all the other things? Because
and yes, there are oral histories of Go Kiều Chinh in several collections that I can point folks to. Her story is captured in many different formats, but she does have an oral history interview.
Okay, because I think we need about 500 hours. Thank you.
Do we have more questions from the audience? Two in the middle.
I saw 1 and 2.
Hi, Go Kiều Chinh, it's Quincy. Besides being a legendary actress, you are a fashion icon. And you said that I knew these outfits were your own in the movie because I've been following your style for so long. What inspired you, or what inspires you in being a fashion icon? And the clothes that you chose, even all the way back then, was so fashion forward and design forward and iconic. Like, what's your inspiration for your style?
Thank you for your kind words. I'm lucky. I was born in Hanoi, North of Vietnam, but then later I grew up in the South Saigon. But I had the opportunity to travel around the world since I was 20 years old. So I've been all over. My fashion, then it was very fashionable. Then, remember it was.
It's still fashionable.
Yeah,
it's still fashionable.
Remember, it was 60 years ago. You know, many of you wasn't born yet. 60 years ago. So I'm lucky and thank you.
I can totally imagine all these young ladies across, Vietnam modeling their looks after her, after seeing you on the screen. We also had another question in the middle back there.
It's actually a question for our venerable archivists. In situations in films like these where the translation in the subtitles is so marginally acceptable, so to speak, is part of the restoration process also building a modern translation of the work?
Yeah, so that is possible. Depending on the element, though, if there's only a print and not pre-print material, and you have the subtitles burned into the emulsion of the film, it is very difficult to do that, which is, you know, I've seen it done, of course, oftentimes using AI or some sort of like masking to then have a quote-unquote clean copy to then create subtitles. But it is quite costly and expensive.
Can it be overlaid over the original subtitle?
That, particularly for 2 sets, that would probably be hard. And I would, you know, talk to our head of preservation. We'd probably work with a lab to try to figure out what would be the best option. I also think that the subtitles are an interesting artifact, of course, for research and study. So it really depends. If you have something clean, you can work from it. I can't remember what all the elements we have on this are. This was obviously just a scan from a print, right? But if we're able to go back to something that doesn't have those burned in, then we would be able to do that and work with somebody who could do a proper translation. That is the goal.
Thank you.
We have one question up front, right here, Eric.
Go, you are such an icon and a legend. And for those who are young like my son who don't even understand the level of legend that is in this room, you have defined a generation of young filmmakers like me who didn't even know that we could be someone like you. From the Joy Luck Club to the Children Unlocked to all the films you champion in our community. I am fangirling with you, my phone here. Thank you so much for being a groundbreaker, for being a trailblazer and being a champion for our community, truly. I have a nonprofit where we support Asian American artists, and we have a spirit of going against the grain, and I feel like you definitely are that person. What made you decide to pursue this career and stay in it for so long?
Well, this is a difficult question to answer. But anyway, you know, motion picture industry is not easy, especially for Vietnam, because it was a newborn industry. And I entered the industry from the very first year, very first. Remember, we left North to South 1954. So, of course, the first 2 years, nothing happened about motion picture industry until 1956. The very first movie produced and Vietnamese actors, it was Chúng tôi muốn sống. And then next, 1957 is me started with Hồi Chuông Thiên Mù. At first, I never thought that I would be an actor, because then I was just married, and my ex-husband have left South Vietnam for America for training. So actually, I was found by a very famous American director, Mr. Joseph Mankiewicz. Yeah, very famous director, twice receiving Oscar. He is the one who directed one of the very big movies like Cleopatra with Elizabeth Taylor. 1956, he went to Saigon, planning to shoot The Quiet American by Graham Greene novels. So he was looking for a Vietnamese lady to play the lead, named Phượng, I still remember. At that time, I was very Catholic. Even I married to a Buddhist family. So my mother-in-law told me that as our culture, when you married, you have to follow husband family, you know, đi đạo. But I asked permission that every Sunday I would like to go to the cathedral church in Saigon. And that Sunday, when I walked out from the church, I walked down to forward the Saigon River. When I passed by cái tiệm sách Xuân Thu, Xuân Thu by the Giro, and then one American sitting from the other side at the Continental Hotel, he ran over and tapped on my shoulder, asked me, "Do you speak English?" I looked back at him. I didn't answer because I thought that he was looking for a girlfriend or something. So he might read my mind, and he passed over me, and then he turned back. He said, do not misunderstand. We are a group of filmmakers sitting over there on the other side of the street at Continental Hotel. The director sitting there. We all watching you walking from far away. We all want that look of a Vietnamese girl, but we haven't found one. So, do you speak English? I said, yeah, a little bit. And he asked, do you speak French? I said, yes, a little bit too. He said, perfect. We've been looking for a Vietnamese girl with your look, can speak English, because then, 1956, not many people speak English, not yet. And then he said, oh, please, come over and meet Mr. Joseph Mankiewicz, the famous director. I came over, we talked, he asked me a few questions, and then he gave me the script. He said that you are perfect for the leading ladies in our stories. Her name is Pho. So this is the script. Bring home, read it, and please come back here tomorrow or the next day so we can do the film test. So I came home, I read the script, but as the culture of my family, every time I get out of the family, I have to ask permission from my mother-in-law that where I'm going. So I asked her that I'm going to meet the film group, and blah, blah. She was surprised. What? Because they don't expect that. You know, why film? What are you talking about? And she said, no, daughter-in-law in this family is not going to make movie. So my father-in-law was a little bit more open. She said, no, let her talk. What is the story is about? And what is your character? So I told them about the story and about my character, the Vietnamese, the spy, and she lived with an Englishman, and then she fell in love with an American CIA. My mother-in-law right away said, no, good woman will not live with one man and then fall in love with the other man. No. So I lost the opportunity to be in that big movie. But when I returned to them, to return the script and to tell them that I cannot be in the movie, everybody was so shocked. I said, what? Mr. Joseph Mankiewicz is so famous in Hollywood. All actors would love to work for him. And you said no? I said, I'm very sorry, but this is family, this is our culture. I have to obey my family mother-in-law. But when I come back, I saw a Vietnamese man was there. His name is Mr. Bùi Diễm, the one who produced Chúng tôi muốn sống. He was there. Later, Mr. Bùi Diễm is our last Vietnamese South ambassador in Washington, D.C. He just passed away last year. Anyway, so we had Mr. Bùi Diễm sitting there. He know my story. Maybe he keep me in mind. Few months later, he contact me, but in a different way. He came to my house with Mr. Lê Quỳnh, the leading man in this movie. Because Mr. Lê Quỳnh was friend with my ex-husband. And he came to ask permission from my mother-in-law direct And my mother-in-law was so surprised. Said, "What? Why movie story keep come back to me?" And my mother-in-law would ask that, "What kind of character are you going to give it to my daughter-in-law?" And Mr. Bùi Diễm said that she would be a Buddhist nun. Mother-in-law, big smile, said, "Oh yeah, I would love that. I want she to become, more Buddhist." And so there's no love scene, no kissing scene, just a Buddhist nun. So that's where I start my acting career, 1957, in the movie Hồi Chuông Thiên Mụ Temple. Then I play a Buddhist nun. And Mr. Lê Quỳnh, the leading man here, played the man that he fell in love with me in the movie. But no, she's the Buddhist nun.
Did your mother-in-law see this film?
Huh?
Did your mother-in-law see this film?
Yes.
I feel like we could sit here and
So
listen
great.
to Go Kiều Chinh talk story all evening, but I have the unpleasant task of wrapping up, and I hope you all will please join me in thanking our speakers during this Q&A. Thank you, Go Kiều Chinh, for this amazing contribution to our community. Thank you all for joining us for the closing night of Viet Film Fest. Hope to see many of you at our gala at the Bowers Museum.